Hey there, Bemidji Church family. In just over a week, we are planning to resume in-person gathering for Sunday morning worship and for on-site ministry events. That means on Sunday, June 28th, we will be reopening our church building for both our 8:30 traditional worship service as well as our contemporary worship service at 10:45. Now, we've been working behind the scenes to get things ready for your safe return to the building. And I really want to thank the Reopening Strategy Task Force, our staff, and our lay leaders, as well as all of you who have had a hand in helping with our live stream and our Sunday morning worship services during this time while the building has been closed. I also want to thank you, the Bemidji Church family, for your patience during this time and for all of your prayers as together we have been navigating our way through this unfamiliar season of ministry. In Psalm 122, verse 1, David says, "I rejoiced with those who said to me, 'Let us go to the house of the Lord.'" And I hope that as we draw near to June 28th, that you will feel that same sense of joy, not arising from a sense of return to normalcy, or even in anticipation of a return to the building. Rather, let's rejoice out of an eagerness to resume worshiping the Lord together with our brothers and sisters in Christ. And so here are 5 things that you need to know in preparation for resuming in-person gatherings starting June 28th. First of all, we invite you to return whenever you feel ready. And we know that some of you are planning to join us in person for worship on Sunday, June 28th. And it is going to be great to see you again, to see you face to face, and to begin to catch up on how God has been at work in your life over these last few months. But we also know that some of our church family will need a bit more time coming back to the building on a Sunday. So if you consider yourself to be someone who is at risk, we would encourage you to continue to stay home until you feel that it is safe to resume in-person gathering. Now, others of you may choose to let a few more Sundays pass before you come back to the building. We want you to know that our live stream will continue to be available to you each and every Sunday for both services, and that we're committed to providing an excellent live stream worship experience for those who choose to worship from home. And if there's anything that you need, please contact one of the pastors or our church office so that we can know how best to serve you. Really, we invite you to return whenever you feel ready. Now, second, we want you to expect that when you return, things will look and feel a bit different. Now, for the most part, your experience in the building will be very familiar. However, over these past number of months, we've had the opportunity to make some cosmetic improvements to the building, as well as to do really some deep cleaning while the building has been empty. We've also decided to take some temporary precautions to help maximize health and safety and minimize risk for anyone in the building. And you'll find the complete list of those recommendations that have been made available by our Reopening Strategy Task Force. You'll find those on our website. But I just want to highlight a few things that you should be aware of. We have removed for at least a little while a number of items from our gathering spaces in order to reduce that risk of COVID-19 spread through touch. So for a little while, we won't have things like hymnals and Bibles or kids' quiet packs available for use. And we won't be passing the offering plates during the service, but we will make available alternate ways for you to safely give of your tithes and your offerings if that's what you choose to do. Now, we'll have also plenty of hand sanitizer on hand, and we've made a few upgrades to our building, especially in our restrooms, such as touchless soap dispensers and foot-operated door pulls. But for now, we won't be serving things like coffee or treats before and after the service. We do want you to know that you are free to bring your own food and drink for personal consumption. Now again, check out the complete list of recommendations on our website, or give us a call in the office and we'll get you a hard copy if you need one. Now, many of you are wondering, will I need to wear a face mask? And we know that for a variety of reasons, some of our church family will be less inclined to wear a face mask, and others will choose to wear one on site. You will see our church staff and our volunteers wearing a face mask while they're serving on site, but we will not be requiring anyone who is attending our services or events during the week to wear a face mask. Based on the recommendations given by the Minnesota Department of Health, we would, however, strongly encourage you to consider wearing a face mask, if at all possible. We will have a limited supply of face masks available while they last, if you should choose to wear one, but feel free to bring your own mask with you while you're on site. Now, fourth, we have developed a plan that will help us with safe social distancing. Over the last few months, we've likely grown tired of those two words as we've tried to go about our daily lives. And we do want to create a safe space for in-person gathering here at the church. So we're going to ask you to continue to allow for social distancing of at least 6 feet, while especially in the common areas where space is limited. Now that means that we'll be encouraging our folks to avoid things like shaking hands and offering hugs for the time being. We won't be utilizing some of our volunteer roles right away, such as ushers and greeters and other welcome ministry help. But we will be doing things like propping doors open as we're able to, in order to keep that safe and efficient traffic flow throughout our building. Now, we're also arranging our worship space seating to allow for reduced occupancy and for socially distanced spacing. So, for example, in the sanctuary, we will be able to seat up to 4 members from the same household together. We'll also be utilizing some overflow seating in the fellowship hall and in the youth room, where we'll be able to accommodate larger household groups that wish to sit together. But for the time being, please plan to not sit together with anyone who is not part of your household. The worship services will be simulcast to both the youth room and the fellowship hall, and that will allow us to worship together as one church, even while we're gathered in separate areas of the building. And we're going to do our best to provide you with seating in your preferred space, but if you're comfortable worshiping in one of those overflow rooms, we would ask you to do so and to open up a seat in the sanctuary for those that need it. Now, we know that these seating arrangements might not be ideal, but we believe that this setup will work best for us for the time being. Now, finally, let's let love drive our return to in-person gathering. Jesus said in John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. Now let's face it, we're still in the midst of something strange, something uncomfortable, even something that's frankly unwelcome. And it's hard when things are different, when we're separated, and when we're asked to lay aside some of our preferences and at times even some of our rights. But as brothers and sisters in Christ, whatever our outward circumstances might be, inwardly we claim to be a transformed people. We claim to be His people. We are Jesus' disciples, and that means that we're called to love one another as Jesus has loved each one of us. So whether on-site or off-site, let's let the love of Jesus and our love for one another drive all that we do as we begin to resume in-person gathering. E-Free Church family, I look forward to seeing you on June 28th or whenever you decide that it's time for you to return. We'll see you soon.